Hey everybody, and welcome to the True Crime Squad. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my sister, co-host, and partner in crime, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello, hey everybody.
How's it
Christmas
going?
is in 6 days. That's how it's
Yeah,
going.
indeed.
Nah, it's good. It's good, except, okay, y'all may know that my wife Veronica is a huge Harry Potter fan.
Yes.
And now the proud owner of two 3D printers, I have been, of course, printing a lot of cool stuff for her for Christmas.
Sure.
And one of those things is Wizard's Chest, which
So cool.
some amazing human created. I can't sell it because I didn't make it and I don't have the rights to it, but
Sure.
I can print it as a gift. Um, Friends, it has become the bane of my fucking existence.
Are you about to throw a
When,
printer through the window?
yeah, well, I'm about to throw all these pieces through the window. This, I broke the top of the staff off, and it went behind the couch.
Oh
And I actually miraculously found it. Glue it back on. But I don't know if you know how 3D printing works, but something like this that has all of these little details,
no.
they have to have a little tree that supports them, that prints around them. And then you have to break all the freaking trees off without breaking all of the parts of your print off.
Mm-hmm.
And I am covered in super glue because every piece has had to have at least one repair. Yeah, this
It's
piece I
rage
flipped that thing
inducing.
behind the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it is rather rage inducing. Other than that, I'm good though.
Hey, if you need a way to take out some of your rage, come up here and I'll
Mm.
put you to work breaking glass. Because that's what I'm
Ooh,
in the midst of.
ooh, fun.
One of my projects just did not work out as nicely as I wanted it to, so I'm making a new one and a couple other things. But also, our niece Nia, wow, our niece Mia is here today. I hired her to wrap our presents, so she's up wrapping everything that I have to wrap so far. I'll have to do a few things myself, but at any rate, so that's kind of amazing because
That's awesome.
by the time she goes home today, like the largest bulk of our presents will be wrapped and toted, just ready to go.
Yay.
So I don't
Oh,
think I've ever
nice.
been this put together before, but
That is pretty prepared. Pretty
well,
prepared.
worth the money. She is in the Surge Tech program and she's in her third year, and so it's a full-time job essentially. And so she's that is unpaid, of course. So she's really unable to
Mhm.
work. So she's odd jobbing it over Christmas to help support herself. She cleans your house. She's going to come up and clean for
Mhm.
our Christmas Eve party. Just trying to help keep her a little busy, help out. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had her and her brother Jack here on Monday, both hired for jobs with me. And her boyfriend Tanner is coming to my house a little bit later to do some electrical work because he's an electrician. So yeah, it's very
It,
handy to have
it's so
these awesome kids
different.
around.
Right. It's so different to go from like hustling to do it all to like being so happy to just pay someone else to do it.
Yes. Oh my God.
hmm
Yeah. I hired Jackson as my shipping clerk. You'll all be glad to know if you order from Fidget Whimsy and have noticed how
hmm
slow I am at getting shit out. I now have a shipping clerk that comes every Monday, packs up all my stuff, and takes it to the place and drops it off. It's awesome.
That's amazing.
I
That's
needed that so bad.
I too have a
And I
shipping
was,
clerk. His name is Scott. Yeah,
oh, there you go.
he
I was
does
bitching
most of the
about it to a
shipping.
friend of mine, and she's like, why don't you hire someone to do that for you? Like, hello?
hmm
Oh, you mean I don't have to do everything myself?
It's a weird
Turns
feeling.
out, no,
Yeah.
you don't. Yeah. So, anyway, that made me happy.
hmm I hear
That
that.
makes me
It's
very
amazing.
happy. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and our Miss Mia only has one semester left to be done, so
I know.
we're just
And
so
then
proud of
she's
her and so
just going to
excited.
be working
So
as a search tech. Oh my gosh.
hmm
It's so cool.
we've already heard quite the stories. Whew.
Wow. Yeah. Being in these surgeries is quite something. She witnesses all kinds of things.
She's like, so there I
Good
was
fun.
standing there holding all this whole uterus in my hands. What? My God. Okay. Or all of this breast tissue or something.
It's pretty wild.
It is wild. Yeah. Hmm. But
Mhm.
good for her.
Oh,
We need some
hey,
people to
Karen
do
from
great things.
Australia.
Hey,
Yes, we
Karen.
do. And Teresa says she made it on her laptop for the first time in months. Yay, welcome, welcome.
Oh, wonderful.
Welcome, Rhonda and Kristi Music. We're so glad you're here.
Absolutely, for sure. Very good. Well, we had a great watch party last night. I haven't had time to
Oh
watch
my
the second
gosh.
to the
Whew.
the wrap up of that, but my God, what a story.
It is quite the story. Yeah.
I'm guessing that everyone that watched the first episode with us last night was like, yeah, I have to watch all of this. I have to finish it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I was thinking maybe later today while I'm breaking more glass, I'll keep watching that because I've got
There you
miles
go.
to go. So,
Oh boy, do I hear that?
but
I'm
speaking of,
printing some cars for someone. That's so
oh,
cool.
fun.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun making Christmas this year. It's awesome.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. Teresa said the watch party made my stomach a little upset. Yeah, that,
Oh yeah.
wow.
Whoa. It was pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
Bama Cat.
if you, we're talking about the Times Square murders, uh,
Yeah,
that is quite the story. Wowza.
it is.
Yeah. But speaking of quite the story, we decided to do a wrap up to, or a roundup today because we had a lot of kind of random bits and pieces that we wanted to report on, but I think some of them are full stories, so we've got a lot. So I think we
Mhm.
probably better hit the ground running. So you're
I
gonna
think we
kick us
bet.
off with some dumb criminals.
Oh boy. These are the dumbest of dumb criminals. These two stable geniuses right here.
Ooh.
Uh, these folks. These are the two police officers, law enforcement, who have actually been charged criminally in the Uvalde, Texas school shooting for their negligence. And one of them was in court today, guys, because he just doesn't think he ought to be charged. His
Mm-hmm.
name is Pete Arredondo, and he is the former Uvalde Schools police chief.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, this is the Robb Elementary School shooting that happened in 2022.
Yeah.
And there was such a disaster with law enforcement that they left those children and their teacher alone in that classroom with the shooter for 45 minutes while they all stood in the hallway waiting for someone to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Those children, their bodies were so damaged that many of them had to be identified by their DNA
Yeah.
because they didn't have faces anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Because
so
he had
awful and
all of that
disgusting.
time and all of that ammo and all of those
And
weapons
they were literally standing in the hallway
at the door,
at the door.
not going in.
No.
Wrestling parents to the ground and putting handcuffs on them that tried to get
Yes,
in to
parents
do
who were
their
desperately
job
trying to get
and
in.
save their
Yeah,
children.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, Peter Arredondo has been charged with, I don't, several, 10 or 11 counts, I think, of, let's see, 10 counts of abandoning or endangering a child. Each of those counts carries punishment of up to 2 years in jail.
Hmm.
So the other man charged with him is the Uvalde schools officer, Adrian Gonzalez, and they are the two that have been charged. Well, guys, Peter Arredondo, he doesn't think he should have been charged. This
Well,
wasn't his
sure.
fault.
What did he do? Nothing.
Well, you know,
That's the
he
problem,
didn't,
Pete.
he did nothing. Nothing. Yeah. So he says he's being scapegoated for the poor police response. Dude, you were the chief of police for that school district. It was literally your job
Yep.
to get in there and get officers in there and do the best that you could.
Yeah.
He's not being
Scapegoated,
charged
Pete?
for,
If it's not you, then who?
right,
Then who?
if not you, who? You were the person who could have sent that team in and
Yeah.
maybe saved some children, maybe
Yeah.
not, but at least You could have tried.
Yeah.
His argument is that this was the fault of the shooter and not his. Well, you're not charged with the shootings, you jackass. You're charged with not doing your job as
Mhm.
the chief of police to do the best that you could to protect those kids and their teacher.
Right. I mean,
It
come
just,
on. The entire
uh,
world was appalled at this news. I mean, the
oh
shooting
yeah,
itself is so horrific and appalling, but then to learn that this was the police
yeah.
response was just at first I was like, these are just rumors. There's no way that's true. Oh yeah, it was true. All of it is
It's
true.
totally true. It is totally true.
Yep.
It's horrifying. And honestly, Arredondo, you should plead guilty
Mhm.
and take your medicine
Mhm.
because it just makes you look worse and worse. So
Yep.
what was happening, he was in court today and he was trying to get his charges dropped. The judge said, hell no, and set a trial date for October 20th of 2025. So several of the victims' families were in court today. None of them spoke or anything, but they were just present. He has pleaded not guilty. Um, oh, this is the other thing. Uh, Gonzalez, who they expect Gonzalez is going to try to get his charges dropped as well, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But he has said that he is going to ask for his trial to be moved out of Uvalde County because he believes his client cannot receive a fair trial there. He said, the attorney said, everybody knows everybody. Yeah, asshole. Everybody knows what you did.
Yep.
They should not move these trials. I think that the people of Uvalde have every right to see that trial through on both of these men.
I mean, isn't that
It
the
was
jury
their
of his
children,
peers? Yeah.
right? And not just his peers, his community, his citizens that he was tasked with protecting.
Yeah.
Ugh, they should both plead guilty
Mhm.
and hang their heads in shame and go do their
Mhm.
time. They should.
Absolutely. They
The
should.
fact that they are both trying to go to trial is
Mhm.
disgusting to me.
Yeah, it is.
They're going to drag these families through a trial where they have to prove that the police should have protected their children to the best of their abilities. Why does anyone have to go to court to prove that?
Yep.
Oh my God, it makes me so fucking mad. I cannot
Mhm.
stand these two men.
Yep.
Here they are.
It
Trash is
is.
what they are for what they did to those
Mhm.
families and
Yep.
what they did to those children. They may not have been able to save any of them, but
But
we'll
we'll never
never
know.
know
We'll never
because
know.
they would not even try.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be a police officer that puts themselves it at risk in the line of duty, then don't be a cop.
Most
Bottom line,
civilians would have put themselves in danger in that
many
state.
tried.
Many tried. Literally telling the police, if
Can
you
you
can't or
imagine?
won't, I will. Yeah.
Right? Can you imagine being an adult in that situation
And just
and not
standing by
running into that
watching.
room and trying? And these were people who were armed. They
Yeah.
were armed. They had all kinds
They're
of gear.
yeah, they had their vests on. They were protected. They could
And were
have
they
gone
risk?
in.
They could have. And I mean, were they risking their lives? Yes. But guess what? If you're going to be a cop, you're going to risk your life. That is
Right.
part of being a police officer. Grow up. You cannot take on a responsibility like that and then shirk this. These men need
And
to
then
be held
pick and
accountable.
choose who you're going to protect. Yeah.
Yeah. It just, as you can tell, it is
And
absolutely
yes,
raging
Uvalde
between me.
deserves their pound of flesh. They do. They deserve
They
a
do.
scapegoat. They deserve some charges somewhere, some
These were
accountability.
public officials employed to protect their community, and they could not protect a classroom of elementary school kids. They wouldn't
Hmm.
even try.
Yep.
It is the saddest, grossest thing I've ever seen. And
Hmm.
the fact that they are trying to go to trial and trying to get their charges dropped and shit. Are
Hmm.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
What do you think you signed up for when you
Hmm.
became a cop?
Right.
Boy,
Plead
obviously I
guilty. Get her
have
done.
very strong feelings about this situation, but no way. No way in hell. And that I'm sure the judge was like, fucking kidding me right now
Yeah.
to try to get this dropped. So we'll see what happens. I hope that they do not grant them a change of venue.
Me neither. They will, but
I think they probably will, but
they'll have to,
honestly,
but I wish they wouldn't.
why should they be allowed to get away with facing their community
Yep.
that they were trying,
Yeah.
were supposed to be protecting? Right, their lawyers are being paid. They have to try to get them off. I know, I realize that, but you know what? They also could have just pled guilty.
Mhm.
I mean, they're driving that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Makes me sick.
Yeah.
Pisses me off. Anyway, we're going to continue to follow that. We don't
Oh,
have a
for sure.
trial date yet on Gonzalez, but that's what's going on in the Uvalde case right now. And with that, Katie, I'm going to kick it over to you for some WTF news.
Okay. Imagine being an elderly lady who attends your local senior citizen center frequently and have friends there and are friends with the staff and the volunteers and the people that are there and they're a part of your support system. And then imagine that your husband dies and you are in a pretty fragile state of grief. And somebody at that senior citizen center who you've known for a while, who you consider to be like a grandson to you, really leans in to support you during this really hard time. It could happen. It could be a nice thing. But
Could
then
be.
what if that person starts telling you that you have dementia and that you clearly are in decline and that your
What?
mental state is not as it should be? And they start saying things to you that are confusing and start gaslighting you. Well, that's what happened in this
Ooh,
case. I'm going to show you. This is the like a grandson.
ooh. I just think
He's
that's never going to be a good idea.
mhm. He's 35. His name is Justin Ray Donaldson. And Justin leaned in to this lady and started gaslighting her and convincing her that she had dementia and that her family did not have her best interest at heart and that they were out to take her out or to take her on a ride to screw her over. The only way really to help protect her and make sure she was going to be okay would be to sign everything over to him.
Oh, God.
And so that is what she did. So she turned over her
Oh,
power of attorney. He gained access to her bank accounts and he stole many thousands of dollars from her.
shit. Oh,
Uh,
what a bastard. Ooh, I'm
mhm.
so sweary today. Can you tell?
So he flew a little too close to the sun and asked her to take out a 5-figure home equity loan for home repairs that she supposedly needed.
5. Oh, fuck.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's a lot of money.
yeah. But how would she know she was too crazy, you know?
Oh, my God.
So she did it, and he used the money to buy a Chevy Tahoe and other things. And that was the point where it got flagged, and her kids figured out what was going on. And
Oh,
they
no.
went to the police, and he now has been arrested. But she's out many thousands, tens of thousands of dollars because of this fool.
And
And
a loan? There's a loan
and
now,
there's a
too?
loan now on her home.
Oh,
Yeah, on money he has
shit.
already spent.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So he has now been charged and arrested, and this will march through the courts, though. Will she recoup any of her money? I would imagine she does not, because it's probably all in the wind. Well, maybe they can sell the Tahoe, but it's really sad. It's sad to me how frequently we hear about these stories of elderly people being taken. Our grandma was so scared that she was going to end up getting taken on a ride like that she wouldn't even answer the phone.
No.
And
Yeah.
she lived across the street, so I could call her 4 times and she wouldn't answer, and I'd go over there because then I was scared that something was wrong. And she was there. She just wasn't answering the phone because she'd had a weird phone call that morning or something. But I've heard this a lot from people that they're just, folks are afraid. But there's a damn good reason for it with stuff like
Oh, there
this going
is.
on.
There's so much scammy shit for elderly people.
Oh.
My mother-in-law she verifies things with us, thank God, because
Mhm.
she has always got something, a phone call or an email, and she knows to call Rhonda or me
Mhm.
before she does anything,
Mhm.
fortunately, because my God, what, why?
Yep.
Ugh,
Yep. So, to hell with you, Justin. I hope they throw every book at you they possibly can because
absolutely.
that is appalling. Yep. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to you for a new segment that we have, crimes against women.
Okay. I don't know if I like the audio on that yet, but we're working on it.
Okay.
Uh, all right. So, well, the verdict is back in the Dominique Pelicot and Company rape trial in France.
Yes.
This is the hero of the story, Giselle Pellicot, who is
Hmm.
changing her name, by the way. She's
Oh,
changing her name, and so are her children. And
they will
uh,
no
Dominique
longer be
Pellicot, ooh,
Pelicos.
new phone, who dis? Fuck
Uh
you,
huh.
dude.
Yep.
I think it's really great. But the jury did come back yesterday in this gigantic trial,
Hmm.
and Dominique Pellicot was found guilty and was given the maximum sentence that they could give for the charges, which is 20 years
Hmm.
for drugging and raping his wife.
I mean, which, given that
Now,
he's in his 70s, that's probably a life
it's
sentence.
life,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem like much.
Right.
But wait till you hear what all of the other rapists got. Not cool. This is hard because rape doesn't get taken seriously. And so the other 50 defendants were convicted.
All of them,
Most of them,
correct?
yes, most of them were convicted on rape charges, but they're getting somewhere between 6 and 9 years in prison
Yeah.
for what they've done.
Do they have a sex offender registry in France?
I am not sure.
I'll see if I
I
can
am not
answer that
sure.
quickly. I'm wondering.
Yeah, I do. That would be good to know. Um, oh, I'm sorry, 8 to 10 years is what most of them received. So the prosecutor recommended 10 to 18-year terms for each of them, and they were given less, 8 to 10, which honestly makes me sick.
Yeah.
That he that it wasn't more, honestly. But that's they can only do what French law will do, and it's I mean it's not any better here in the
Hmm.
United States, honestly. But at least for Giselle and her children, um, they never have to see that man's face again. They
Yep.
never have to think about any of this shit again. And all of these men are going away.
Yep.
I cannot imagine
Yep.
um, what an impact this has on this community because so many of them were
Oh yeah.
local.
Hmm.
Like that's 51 men
In
from a
every walk of life, every
yeah,
stage of life. Yeah.
every age,
Yep.
and they're all going away.
Yep.
It does
Yep.
make you wonder, like, what is the impact on the community as far as like just the losing of that many adults who were contributing in some way.
Well, we know that not all of the community thought there even should be charges.
Right.
From
Yes.
articles that we've read from reporters on the ground, some people were honoring Giselle and supporting Giselle, and other people were like, ugh, just rape, like it's not that big of a
Right.
deal
Like it
kind
was
of
not that.
attitude. Yeah.
Just right. 51
Hmm.
defendants, one victim.
Hmm.
The,
Yeah.
it is, it's unfathomable to me. But yes, at least the community is much safer now because all of these assholes are going to be gone.
Yep.
Um, you know, was kind of interesting. The defense, tried to say that he had been an attentive grandfather, father, and husband. This is Dominique Pelicot, and was besotted with Miss Pelicot since they met at age 19. But the therapists,
Mm-hmm.
evaluators who testified, said that he was perverse, manipulative, incapable of empathy, and addicted to sex. And he said that that was rooted in a violent childhood. Oh, no one cares, buddy.
Yeah.
No one cares.
And dude, you're
There is,
well beyond childhood. So time to
yes,
grow
you
up.
are,
Yeah.
yeah, 100% responsible for your own actions.
And to answer our own question, yes, France does have a sex offender registry.
Good.
However, it at least what I'm reading online, and maybe this, this is the internet, but what I'm reading is that registration information is not publicly disclosed. So the police would know what sex offenders lived in their community, but it doesn't necessarily mean community members would know what sex offenders live in their community. Yeah.
That's too bad. Because
Yeah.
honestly, people should be able to know
Well,
who these
this
men are.
very small community is going to have a lot of new sex offenders down the road.
Yeah, so many. But, as we know, Giselle is quite an icon.
Yes.
And let's see. Janet said, someone posted this on X. I love it and echo it. Giselle Pellico has empowered millions of women by courageously breaking her silence about surviving serial rapes. Yes, and not only that, but she has turned the tables, the victim
Mm-hmm.
shaming.
Mm-hmm.
She turned the tables at the very beginning and said,
Yep.
I don't have anything to be ashamed of.
Yep.
I haven't done anything wrong. It is their shame.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like a no-brainer that it should be like that, but we all
Mm-hmm.
know it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And so she has done so much for women and survivors of rape across the whole world. She is
Mm-hmm.
such a hero, and it's
Yep.
amazing to me. Her bravery and her strength is so inspiring.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely amazing. Yep.
And fortunately, these assholes are going away for quite a few
Yep.
years.
8 to 10 years at least. Yep.
Yeah, 8 to 10 years, and that will give the community some time to really look at itself, frankly,
Yes.
that there were this many men
Mm-hmm.
in that community. And I know they weren't all local, but a huge number of them were.
Yeah.
And there are still like 25 outstanding that they have not been
Mm-hmm.
able to identify.
Yep. Yep.
And so I imagine that work will continue and we may see more of them put
Mm-hmm.
away. But I'm thrilled for Giselle and her family that that they can move forward now.
Yep.
And I love that they're changing their name.
Oh yeah.
I think they're taking
Absolutely.
her maiden last
Her
name.
maiden name.
But I think that's great. Like,
Yeah.
no one ever even has to know who we are, and we certainly never have to see that hideous human's face again.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
thank
good
you,
for them.
Giselle. You are a worldwide hero with what you've done.
Yes, absolutely. And we need more women who can
Mm-hmm.
to stand up just as she's done. We need that so much.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, Katie, I think we might be missing one in our list. What's next? It's
I have
you.
a crime news update.
Oh, you have a crime news update. Okay, yep, that's where I got screwed up.
You probably remember back around Mother's Day, we had these two mamas from Kansas that disappeared.
Oh, yes.
And then subsequently, their bodies were found buried. They'd been murdered. And then there were some arrests. But the story of what happened to them has been fairly muddy up to this point. We've had a few details come out, not a lot. Well, whew, that has all changed because there has been a pretrial going on. So the mothers in question were Veronica Butler and Jilian Kelley. Veronica was in the middle of a custody battle and also an exchange, um, should have been on an exchange with her children. So they were going to Oklahoma to pick up her children from grandma. And that's when they vanished. And then later, of course, they were found and it was revealed that they had both been stabbed to death.
Right.
So Then we learned that there had been 4 arrests in this case: Tiffany Adams, Tad Collum, Cole Twombly, and Cora Twombly. Oh, and Paul Grice. Sorry, yeah. I think there was eventually 5 suspects. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's been a preliminary going on because Tiffany Adams, Tad Collum, and Cole Twombly were coming in for their preliminary hearings. Cora Twombly, and yes, she is married to Tad, or to Cole, and Paul Grice had waived their right to a preliminary hearing, and it was announced that they were both taking a plea deal. And that a part of that plea was that they would testify against the rest of them at the preliminary hearings. Well, what an absolute disaster for those that didn't take a plea, because holy shit, what they had to say. Whew.
Mm.
Well, first of all, Tiffany Adams only lasted 20 minutes and ended up having a bit of an outburst and was escorted out and returned to the jail and waived her right to a preliminary. So it seems like as soon as she realized that she was getting to be testified against, she was out. And that's Grandma.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then we had Tad Collum and Cole Twombly that were still waiting for their preliminaries. So Adams, she'll be back in court in April now that she's waived her right to, or waived her preliminary hearing. So we're really focusing on the testimony of Cora Twombly and Paul Grice. So Cora first, she's pleading guilty to first-degree murder and conspiring to commit murder. And I mean, so that's the plea. Basically, these pleas are just to get the death penalty off the table. And so the DA, is going to recommend a life sentence with all of it suspended except 30 years, which still seems like a
Wow.
lot. So good, fine.
Good. Yeah.
She said part of her plea agreement is to protect her daughter, that if she testifies, then her daughter won't have to.
Oh.
Yeah. So she talked a
Okay.
lot about her relationship between them with these people. They called themselves God's misfits. They had kind of a weird mix of politics and religion, very alt-right stuff, and uh, kind of the perverse kind of Christianity that turns into, well, this kind of behavior. Potentially. Don't want to be unfair, but we're talking about radical stuff. So Cora, so she said that most of these guys grew up together in the same area of Oklahoma, between Keys and Boise City.
Okay.
She and
Boise
her,
City, really?
uh-huh. She
Is
and
it
her
spelled
husband,
the same?
yeah,
Wow. I had no idea.
I know, me neither. She and her husband Cole, she said, had been watching videos and learning about their constitutional rights when Paul Grice came by their place to buy a puppy and joined in their conversation. And then later, Adams and Collum joined the group, and that's kind of how they got going. So Cora said she and Tiffany Adams really bonded over their children's struggles with addiction and became really tight friends. So then Tiffany Adams starts really talking a lot about her grandchildren's welfare and fear of them being abused. So she was splitting and fighting for custody. She's claiming that the grandchildren were being physically and sexually abused at their mother's house. There's no evidence of that we're aware of, so I want to be really clear on that. That's just what she was saying and what she was telling the group. So over time, their conversation started turning into how to get rid of the children's mother, Veronica Butler. She said she didn't have enough money to keep fighting for custody, and so she really needed to just get her out of the picture so that she could just waltz off into the sunset with the kids.
Mm.
So they had planned an attempt on Veronica Butler's life that was supposed to be on her birthday. But the plan fell apart and it didn't happen. So then they came up with a new plan. Oh, that was carried out on Easter weekend. I'm sorry. For some reason, I thought this was Mother's Day. Uh, on
Oh, I
Easter
did too. It
weekend.
must have been, it was not far before. I was thinking it was after, but yeah.
Yeah, that's been in my head this whole time. So she said on the day of the murders, she pulled up to where they were supposed to be. She could see two people running between Veronica's butler's car and a trailer. She didn't say who it was, but later she said she could see Paul Grice uh, on the ground struggling with Veronica Butler and could see his arm moving up and down and believed that he was stabbing her.
Oh, man.
She said they knew that a court appointed supervisor would be with her. Unfortunately, that's who Jilian Kelley was. She was a court appointed supervisor. I believe they were also friends. But
Mm.
she was literally in her role as supervising the exchange of these kids. So they knew she was going to be there. They weren't that happy with having to kill her, but she was complicit in helping Veronica, which meant she also had to die.
My God. A completely innocent bystander, basically.
Yes.
I mean, they were both completely innocent, frankly, but holy shit.
Yep. Cora says she had a conversation with Paul Grice and he told her that he had killed them both. He said he killed Kelley in the trailer while on the way to the burial site. She also
Mm.
said that her husband, Cole Twombly, didn't know about the plan until the week before because he was apparently quite the drinker and had loose lips. So they were afraid that he would tell or mouth off to somebody. So he didn't get to know the plan till very close to the time that they carried it out. Cora did know the plan, however, but Paul did not.
Wow. The premeditation and planning that went into this is terrifying.
Hmm. So then they had Paul Grice on the stand. And he says, again, that they kind of started more as a religious group and then it evolved into political discussions. Apparently, there were about 15 people in their group, but it was just this small core group of people that had this plan to, do the murders.
Wow.
So Grice was abused as a child. So these stories about the potentiality of the children being abused really upset him and kind of riled him up that he had to help out, had to do something. He said that Tiffany Adams used Bible verses and took them out of context, and he fell for that. He said in hindsight he didn't have any proof of any abuse and that it is his fault for not asking for more proof before taking action. You think?
Right?
Grice really strikes me as somebody who is really impressionable and easy to manipulate and easy to rile up. I mean, he did all of the
Hmm.
killings.
Wow.
Yeah. He said that he also lied to their group and told them that he had killed someone before when he was in a group that protected abused children. He made that story up so that they would trust him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's some really twisted
Holy
people.
shit. Yeah, they sure are.
He says he feels like he was set up to kill Butler and Kelley. Well, you're a grown up,
What?
dude. No.
Yeah.
He said that he stabbed Veronica Butler first, as we know. He wrestled her to the ground and stabbed her on the ground. They also had used stun guns on the women. They bought 5 stun guns to use. So they had
Jesus Christ.
tased them, it seems like repeatedly. There were markings on both of the women's bodies that indicated that they had been tased repeatedly or stun gunned, or I don't know.
That
Uh,
is, wow.
yeah. He says while they were in the trailer, he was in the back of the trailer with these women while they were driving them to the burial site with the bodies, and that Kelley's eyes began to flutter, and he couldn't tell if she was alive or not because of the bumpy roads, so he stabbed her some more.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He said
Like
it.
psychopaths collide. This is almost a
Hmm.
Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell situation.
Hmm.
Yikes.
He says after he killed Butler, they were sitting in the middle of the dirt road before they'd loaded her into the trailer, and the Adams was walking around her body. Tiffany Adams, the grandma, walking around her body laughing in a way that he had never heard before. He said it sounded evil.
Wow.
Yeah. So he took a plea deal as well to avoid the death penalty. And they also had some other people at the, that testified. The owner of the property they buried her on, or the women on, they had told this guy a lie about what they were doing out there, and he, didn't think much of it until, bodies were dug up. And then
Hmm.
also the place where they had purchased the 5 stun guns from also had testified. So throughout this process, Cole Twombly also ends up being escorted out of the courthouse, and they announce that he has also now waived his right to a preliminary hearing and to a speedy trial. So he's due back in court in May. So Colum is still there, so they go all the way along, and do cross examination to these witnesses. Grice says that he's really having trouble sleeping after all of this because he just keeps thinking about what Jillian Kelley looked like with those eyes fluttering. And what we learned from the autopsy is that his initial injuries of her had paralyzed her from the neck down. And so she
Oh,
probably was still alive at that point. Yeah.
holy shit.
Hmm.
And couldn't move.
Yeah,
Oh, that is.
it's unfathomable. So at the end of the day, the judge said, yes, we're definitely going to hold this over for trial. It seems like there's enough evidence. And that's where we are.
Wow.
Yeah. So, to hell. To hell. So
Yeah.
terrible. My God. Yeah.
That's scary as hell. I'm amazed that they haven't all done this before. Like, I'm
Hmm.
glad they were caught before they could do this again,
Yeah.
because it sure seems like they probably would have.
Hmm. So, my ice maker is making a really horrible noise. So, I'm going to go fix that and I'm going to turn it over to you for a gun crime segment.
Yes. Well, there was a mass shooting in Baltimore County, Maryland on Tuesday that has, well, it's really scary and it's really kind of got the police pretty flummoxed, kind of. Um, this happened at about 7:15 p.m. Uh, in Baltimore County. It was like right outside a funeral home. And an incident occurred in which a car that was carrying 10 people crashed, flipped in this fiery accident, and 9 of those people were shot, and one was injured in the car accident, and one of them has since passed away. And the other 8 victims are in the hospital. Police are calling it a mass shooting. They are trying to figure out exactly how it happened. When they came up on them, all of the people were outside of the car, and the car was on its side on fire, and then most of them had been shot. Super scary. This is what it looks like. You can see kind of in the back where the fire is there. That is the vehicle that all 10 of the victims were in.
Wow.
And did they wreck and then get out and get shot? Likely. I don't know how you could shoot all 10 people or 9 of the 10 people in the car. But they think that it may have something to do with a murder that happened recently in that same area.
Wow.
So this is Charles. No, 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 I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so the one person who died in the crash, his name is Charles Graham Jr., and he was 26 years old. And then 8 other people had gunshot wounds, and another had an injury probably from the car accident. They are ages 14 to 27, young people. The police do not believe it was random. Of course it wasn't. I mean, they were all hit. Like, what the hell? But they think it has to do with the murder of 19-year-old Andrew Blessing. This is Andrew. Andrew was killed in his bed uh, not long, well, just a few days before this incident in a similar area. And they think that this may have been retaliation for his murder. The police don't think that anyone else is at risk. They think that this was targeted on these 10 individuals,
Wow.
but it's really scary.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you the ages of these folks. So Charles Graham Jr. was 26. The other victims are 27, 18, 18, 17, 16, 14, 15, 17, and 24.
Wow.
Like, holy hell.
Jesus.
What it, what the hell is going on?
What a major
They're also not
loss.
sure at the time that this was reported, and I'm not really seeing anything that's any newer than what I've got from yesterday, is that they are not entirely sure if the vehicle was stolen. They're not sure who the vehicle belonged to. They're working on that. And, they're also saying they don't think there's risk to anybody else that this was targeted, but they are calling it a mass shooting.
Wow.
Neighbors told the news that they heard more than a dozen shots fired. Shell casings were found scattered all over the scene. The bullets actually hit the facade of a nearby building. They don't actually, and that was the funeral home. And when I first looked this up, I'm like, oh my God, did somebody shoot up a funeral? No, it appears to be a coincidence. This wasn't related to the funeral home at
Mm-hmm.
all. But they
Wow.
do think that it may have somehow been in retaliation for this young man's murder.
Wow.
Holy shit. I mean, they shot at 10 people and hit 9 of them.
What a mess.
Very scary. So,
Terrifying.
they're keeping a lot of information close at this point. I'm hoping we're
Mm-hmm.
going to learn more about it later because, I mean, people in this community certainly need to know if they have reason to fear for their own safety.
Mm-hmm.
I would have reason to fear for my safety if I were in that situation, or in that community, that people would pull off a shooting like that of that many people is
Mm-hmm.
terrifying.
It is.
And
Wow.
all the love to Andrew Blessing's family, who were already dealing with his death, and now this is maybe connected, and all of these
Right.
other folks are injured too. And
Well, and
all
so
the love
many
to
young
Charles Graham
people.
Jr.'s family, who did pass away.
Yeah. Wow.
It's believed that these young people knew Andrew Blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, when he was killed inside his home in bed, and there were about 20 shots fired inside of his home.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know
This
if
needs
this
to
is
stop. My God.
gang thing, drug thing. What the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
But how scary.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's been a weird week. It's been a
Yeah, it
really
has.
weird week.
Yes.
There's been a
Oh,
lot of shit go
yeah.
down. I know there's the other
Wow.
shooting in Wisconsin. We just haven't even wanted to talk about that one.
Yeah, but on all the info too that's just come out about the family in Utah,
Yes.
they were refugees from Myanmar and
Yeah.
immigrants and had been working so hard to put a good life together here and had put together a good life here
Yeah.
just for the dad to kill them all.
And they found a small pistol under Dad's body. So that's why they're now saying that they do believe that he was the shooter. He had the
Yeah.
gun.
Mhm.
Well, in that shooting in Wisconsin, now there's a man in California that's been arrested who
Yes.
was communicating online with a 15-year-old girl that
Yeah.
commit that shooting,
Mhm.
and that there was, I think, some kind of a suicide pact. She was going to shoot up her school,
Mhm.
and he was going to shoot up and to carry a bomb into a public building.
Mhm.
And he didn't
In
keep up his end
California.
of the deal, and
Yeah.
she did.
Mhm.
Oh, God. Hideous. Just hideous.
Yeah.
Katie, sorry. Sometimes these are fun and funny, and today it just isn't the case.
It's heavy today. Yeah, there's a
It
lot.
is.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to round us out with another crime news update, right?
With some creepy crime.
Oh, creepy crime. Oh, I apologize. Let me get that up for you.
It's only creepy because the cameras in the skies and in the streets. We don't have much privacy left anymore. But maybe that's okay
Yeah,
in
we
some
don't.
instances. I mean, I'm not all out there breaking the law, so it doesn't bother me all that much. But it's an interesting thing what's going on in our world. And the reason I say that, this is a photo that was taken in Spain by a Google Street View car. Interestingly, this car hadn't been through this community in 15 years. But they happened to go
Hmm.
through a little town called Tejeco in Spain, and they took that picture and some other pictures, just along their travels, like a Google Street car does, right? A Google Street car camera system. Well, that picture and some others helped to solve a murder.
Wow.
So that image is showing a person loading a large white sack into the trunk of a car. Well, as it turns out, that large white sack was a body.
Whoa.
And between that picture and some others, and also some electronic device type evidence, and then some DNA evidence from that red car, they have been able to prove that not just that person, but a couple others that were all conspirators in this crime had murdered a man from Cuba. They have now found a portion of his body as well. They buried him in the cemetery.
I mean, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yikes. Like,
Um,
what are the odds
there
that
was
you're loading a
also
body into your car when Google Street comes by? Holy
mhm.
shit.
There was also another picture that I don't have that showed kind of a blurred image in the background of that picture of someone wheeling the same white sack in a wheelbarrow.
So they had video, they had two different images of it?
Hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
The second Google Maps image shows a blurred silhouette of someone who was carrying a large white bundle on a wheelbarrow. And they believe it's the same package. Yes.
Holy hell.
So apparently they knew this man had gone missing because their relative had contacted the police after they received some suspicious messages. And whoever the relative is, they were close to that person and said they hadn't heard from him in some time, which was really strange. So they got a series of messages from his phone telling him that, or them, that he had met a girl and he was leaving Soria where he lived and that he was getting rid of this phone. And that just, none of that tracked at all. So that's why they contacted the police in the first place.
Wow.
So, anyway, a lot of really good police work has gone into finding all of these different clues and tying them together, and also finding what they believe is the body, though they haven't been able to identify it quite yet. But yeah, Google. So they have
Wow.
three people in custody, and Google Streetcar for the
That
win.
is insane.
Yeah,
Also awesome.
right. We'll take it. Isn't that crazy, though?
That is. Wow.
Yeah.
Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if we can get to a point where people are a little more, a little less brazen when it comes to murder, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was Google Maps that helped find Tylee and JJ.
That's right.
That was one of the biggest. clues that help put the pieces together so that they knew where and also too
Yeah. Oh,
did
Google Earth. Google
a
Earth.
Google Earth. Yeah. Yeah, not Google
Yeah.
Maps. Sorry. Yeah, Google Earth. Yeah, to help take down Chad Daybell and Lori. Yeah. So we'll
Good.
take it. But
Yeah, we will.
still a little creepy to think that some of those images that pop up from Google could have could actually be a crime scene.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Jesus.
pretty wild.
Whew.
Yeah,
What a world we're living in.
yeah. It's my hope for all of us that things settle down. That next week is a lot more calm in the true crime world. That people keep their
I
shit
hope so.
together
Because
through the
this week has
holidays.
been
They don't.
nuts.
They won't. I hope they do.
Hmm.
I mean, we have had a full moon this week, and Mercury went direct, and so you know, anyone who works in the ER will tell you that, or the police in law enforcement at all will tell you around the full moon for sure, people really act up and they have their
Oh, yeah.
babies
When
and
I
show
worked
up
in
into
domestic
the,
violence,
yeah,
it was the
ER with
week no
crazy
one wanted
shit.
to be on call.
Yeah, yeah. So at least we'll be out of that and out of the shadow of Mercury. So maybe that'll help us. But yeah, can everyone just calm down, please?
Yeah,
Let there be peace on earth.
that
Something
would be
like that.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've got. So we will be back on Monday next week. And then I don't know if we'll be back at all. That may be it.
Yeah, we'll have to see
Kind of get our schedules
um,
synced up.
kind
Yeah.
of what we want to do. Yeah.
So we'll for sure miss Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, obviously, Christmas
Hmm.
Eve and Christmas Day. So we'll see. Lily
Yeah.
said, "Did you see my DNA for the win I posted on your Facebook today?" No. I'll go check it out. I love these DNA for the win stories.
A murder from
Thank you, Lily, for
1969.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely. It's not too late to buy a song from us if you want. I think we maybe still have one out. We're about caught up on
Yeah.
them, I think, but
Well.
we're close.
Hmm.
But if you want to do that, you can go over to our Buy Me a Coffee. Just go to truecrimesquad.com. You'll see all of our links. You can go to Buy Me a Coffee and you can give us whatever directives you want, and we'll write you a song. A whole bunch of you guys have and have already been rolling them out to your friends and family. And some of you were waiting for Christmas morning, but it's so funny. Yeah. Oh, I
Oh
just
yes,
meant over the
we
holiday,
just mean
Bob.
over the
Yeah.
holidays. We're not going anywhere permanently.
No.
No, no.
No, no. You guys are stuck with us. But
Yes, you are.
absolutely. But we'll be back Monday no matter what. Even if
We will.
that's it for the week. We're just not sure. We got to figure it out. But at any
Hmm.
rate, that's what we've got. So yeah, come over to Buy Me a Coffee and buy a song if you want to. And if not, boo, but whatever. I'm kidding.
You don't have to, but if you
You
want
don't
to,
have
we
to.
are enjoying it
No,
a lot.
we really are. We've had some real bangers. It's been really fun.
Hmm.
Yep. Alrighties. Well, have a great weekend. Shop till you drop or don't, whatever.
Rap till your arms fall off, or don't, or maybe just have a really quiet, peaceful weekend where no one gets killed. That'd be cool.
That'd be neat.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I'm going to go break some glass. And you're going to go throw some 3D prints through the glass. So I think we're
Possibly,
synced up.
possibly. Yeah,
Yes.
I think we
All
are.
right, guys. We will see you soon. This has been yet another production of the True Crime Squad.
Bye, everybody.